Good morning, everyone. So glad you could join us for this Navigating Arizona Remote Bid and Winning Bid Deposit webinar. Today, we're going to cover quite a bit of content. So here's our agenda. We want to get to know you. We want you to get to know us. We want to also go in detail about how Arizona Remote Bid and the winning bid deposit for that state works. Now, don't forget that every other state that has remote bid will be available to you as well. Now, we'll have a quick Q&A session at the end, so don't forget to jot questions down pertaining specifically to remote bidding or to Arizona winning bid deposit. And as we go, type them into the Q&A. Now, we may not have time for every single question, but we will answer all relevant questions as time allows. So any open questions, we'll be sure to reach out and respond via the inbox. And we'll make sure to provide you with our buyer success inbox when we talk about our next steps and resources. So you can send in any questions that you may have. Let's get going. We want to make sure that you know exactly who we are, what our mission is, what we do. We absolutely make the buying process easier for you as an investor or maybe a potential homeowner. And we level the playing field by bringing transparency to the entire process, whether you're remote bidding, whether you're bidding online on our website, or whether you're in person at a foreclosure auction. We want to make sure you know that we have the most inventory of exclusive properties. These are exclusive to our website and app and allow you to bid in multiple ways. So that's what we do. We've got some great tools. We've got a great buyer success team that helps you navigate that process. Now, here's what we don't do. We do not own the properties that we list on our website or app. We do not set the prices or reserve. We also don't buy the properties on our platform. So we want to be very clear that we have no control over what the prices are, where they're set, or where these properties will sell. Let's talk about foreclosures for a bit before we move forward. Now, foreclosures, these sales are legal proceedings and they're subject to state law requirements. So whether a jurisdiction allows for a state deposit or requires full funds, you want to make sure that you are ready to tender funds immediately upon sale either way. There will be no financing available for these foreclosure sales and no extra time or grace period afforded to you. So you want to make sure to have your full funds ready. Most states require full funds for these foreclosure proceedings, but even deposit states like Arizona still require any remaining balance tendered by 5 p.m. the next day, that day after the auction. So make sure to prepare accordingly and be ready with your funds in advance. That way you can avoid forfeiting any winning bid deposit. Now, what we can do is help you navigate this platform and understand how to work it much, much better. So let's show you how it works. If you haven't already downloaded the app and created an account, we've got a great QR code here for you to access the app and create that free account. So go ahead and scan it. There's no cost to create an account, so you can go ahead and start searching on our platform right away. Make sure you save those properties to your favorites so that you can get real-time notifications about whether those properties have been cleared for sale, whether any bid amounts have changed, whether the occupancy status changes, or whether that property is canceled, which can save you a lot of time if you're planning to attend in person or even if you're planning to remote bid through the app. We also want you to set up your purchase profile once you get the app going. This really helps you streamline the process and it saves you a ton of time by telling us how you want to purchase those properties, how you intend to own that property, whether you're planning to own it under your own name or maybe a company name. Maybe you're using a trust or a 401k. You can set up your purchase profile to tell us how you want to legally vest that property and have your deed executed. And you can set up multiple purchase properties as well. So if you buy in different kinds of entities like yourself, or maybe a partnership or an LLC, you can set those up. Then you can go ahead and get qualified for remote bid. You can bid anywhere, right from your mobile app on specific remote bid eligible properties. You'll still be participating in those in-person county sales. This changes nothing. Remote bid simply allows you to remote in to those sales that you cannot or maybe do not want to attend in person. And you're doing it all through the app. And that's great because we've got a great search platform where you can filter and see which properties are eligible for remote bid and which properties can allow you to do that. Then once you get qualified for remote bid and you zero in on those properties that you might want to bid on, you can fund your remote bid account. And this will allow you to place bids through the app. Gotta fund your account, whether you're bidding in a state that requires full funds, which most do, or maybe you're taking advantage of this new Arizona winning bid deposit, which only requires $10,000 deposit per property to place a bid up to any amount. Once you've got your remote bid funded, you can submit your remote bid. Now, there's no need to wait for the auction to start. In fact, we always recommend bidding early in advance, getting in that bid and setting your highest and best price. You can get a great deal and hopefully win it for well under your max. Now, on auction day, you'll be able to participate in the auction and see the bidding live and in real time, which is pretty cool. And maybe increase your bid if you weren't able to place your highest and best bid and jump in on the action and grab a win. Now, upon winning, that $10,000 winning bid deposit for Arizona will be immediately debited from your remote bid account and sent to the firm for your deposit. You'll receive additional communication regarding next steps, so don't worry. A DocuSign form will be sent for completion, and funds will be due by 5 p.m. the next business day. Now, please note, most of our firms in Arizona require those funds to be delivered in person to the firm by 5 p.m. the next business day. You may have options, but any failure to tender remaining funds will result in forfeiture of your deposit. So I want you guys to know that. I can't stress enough how preparing your funds in advance is so crucial to your success, even if you're just planning on that $10,000 deposit. Have those full funds ready. Now I want to show you how remote bid can really help you win. Let's get some wins. Now, remote bid is a great way to really increase your chances to win. So you don't have to limit yourself to just going to the courthouse or for just bidding in one county or even one state. You can really unleash that buying power by taking advantage of all of these multiple auctions, even in different areas where we have remote bidding available. Instead of going in person and bringing your cashier's checks with you, you can simply fund your remote bid account for the $10,000 Arizona winning bid deposit via the wire instructions located in your auction.com app. And we'll tell you how to do that, don't worry. You'll need to do that the day before the sale. And on the day of the sale, you can monitor that bidding in real time. No need to wait for the auction. So get your bids in early and in advance, which we always recommend doing for the best experience. Or you can bid live and in real time by joining that auction and watching the bidding unfold right through the app. So let's see how you can optimize our app to search for properties. Let's talk about searching, sorting, and saving. The great thing about our app and our website is that it allows you to search, filter, sort, and save properties to your favorites. So as you can see, the app automatically shows you the search map, but you can toggle it to view it as a list format as well, if you like. The list view allows you to click on the heart icon to save properties to your favorites. Save those properties. The filters allow you to streamline that search so that you can view only what you want. If you want to sort by auction date, if you want to sort by price, square footage, property specs, you can do that. You can filter in what you want and leave out what you don't. Now, this is so important for getting your due diligence started, starting with each property detail page. And here's what that's going to look like for you. The property detail page is really the most important part of getting into your auction.com search and starting that due diligence, starting your research. So This is going to allow you to really get all that started. As you can see, it's going to look a little different on the app. The app view is going to be a little more condensed, but our website is going to be a little more comprehensive. A lot more information is available on our website. So we encourage you to save those properties to your favorites if you're using the app. And then you can jump on the website when you get a chance to view all of that more comprehensive information on each property detail page. You can see what the different information looks like, and don't forget to save those properties to your favorites. Now, on that property detail page, we might have local comps in the area. We might have a great section on due diligence. If you've got that property saved to your favorites, you're going to receive notifications if anything is updated. So that's a great way to stay in the loop. It's a great way to get started. Then you can set up your purchase profiles. First step is that property detail page. Next step are these purchase profiles. So important. Once you've zeroed in on those properties, save them to your favorites, and conducted your due diligence, you're going to want to set up your purchase profile. Now, this is great because, like I said before, you can set this up before the auction, set yourself up for success, and it saves you so much time by telling us how you want your deed vesting or ownership information. How do you want that deed executed? Who's going to own this property? Will it be under your name? Will it be under a partnership or a company name? Maybe a trust? Set up that purchase profile to tell us how you'll be legally vesting ownership in that property. And you can even set up multiple purchase profiles. Like I said, we have investors who buy under multiple entities, maybe under their own name, maybe with their spouse or their partnership, or like I said, a trust, 401k, for example, maybe an LLC. So you're going to go into the More section, into your settings, and click Purchase Profile. This way you can add as many purchase profiles as you need to designate how you want your deeds executed. Remember, whatever you type into the vesting details section of your purchase profile will be exactly what we send to the trustee firm to let them know how you wish your deed to be executed, okay? And how you want to take ownership in that new property. And once your purchase profile is set up, you are good to go. So if you haven't already, here's what you need to get qualified for remote bidding. It's so easy to do. Just make sure that your email matches your auction.com account. And if you haven't set up an auction.com account, go ahead and get that free account set up so you're ready to go when you get qualified for remote bidding. We've got a great QR code right here for you here that you can scan. And you can scan that right now to send you to our remote bid landing page, where you can not only find out more about remote bidding, but you can set up that remote bid escrow account so you can start funding, bidding, and winning. Guys, this is at auction.com/remote bid. Again, make sure that email that you use matches your auction.com account. If you already have a free account with us, make sure you include your legal first name and last name. Even if you purchase under a company, we need your information as a representative bidder of your remote bid account. And then you'll enter some identity verification information. And again, can't stress enough that we'll need your first and last name, even if you're buying under a partnership or entity. Really important to get you set up as a person. Once you're approved, you'll receive an email with next steps and an introduction to your assigned buyer success specialist on our great buyer success team, because your dedicated specialist can help you navigate our platform so that you can start funding your account for bidding. Now, once you're qualified and you're ready to start winning some properties, you simply have to fund your auction.com remote bid account. So make sure that you fund your account no later than 1 business day prior to auction day. Most of our proactive bidders bid 24 to 48 hours in advance. And the wire cutoff is going to be in the early afternoon, okay? It's going to be about 2 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. So a lot of our remote bid investors They like to fund a couple of days ahead just to be proactive. Excuse me, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. We highly encourage proactivity to encourage that there aren't any delays. And another thing that's going to avoid delays in funding your remote bid account is to include your unique bidder ID. And that can be found in your wire transfer information section of your auction.com app right here. Click on more and then wire transfer information. That's going to allow you to view your wire instructions and your unique bidder ID. Now, your bidder ID is so important. It must be sent with every wire in order to identify you to your fund. So be sure you save your bidder ID, jot it down, take a screenshot, have it ready for each and every wire. Now, as soon as those funds have been received and posted by our banking department, you're going to receive an email that says, alert, remote bid funds updated. And you can go into your app and verify by going back into that more settings section and checking your available funds at the top of your settings right there. Now, again, most states require full funds to remote bid, but luckily we've got Arizona now where you can actually fund your account for the $10,000 winning bid deposit, or you can fund for the full amount. Notice that this bidder has funded $275K in available funds. So they're ready to go no matter what state they're bidding. If they win a property in Arizona, that $10,000 winning bid deposit will be immediately debited and sent to the trustee firm for payment. And then they'll be able to settle that remaining balance due the next day by 5 p.m. as required. Now, again, if someone were to only fund the 10,000, they could still bid and win an Arizona property. They'll then have the option to wire those funds directly to the firm by the next day, but typically you'll need to deliver those in person via cashier's check to the trustee firm directly. So make sure that you talk to your buyer success specialist to get yourself ready. You have a couple of options, but again, we can't stress enough how important it is to prepare and be ready with those full funds. Once you've set up your purchase profile and funded, you're now ready to submit your remote bids. Now, let's say you've done just that. You're bidding in Arizona, which allows you for bidding that $10,000 winning bid deposit. This person's ready to go. They funded their auction.com remote bid escrow account for $10K. Now they want to go in and submit their remote bid. You'll go into the auction.com app and click into the property detail page from search or from saved if you've saved those properties to your favorites. If you saved it to your favorites, you saved yourself a lot of time. You can go right from your favorites into that property detail page. Before your bid is placed, you're going to click that blue submit a remote bid button. And remember, you don't have to wait for auction day. Once you've funded your auction.com account, go ahead and submit that remote bid. Get it in early for the best experience. We like to say set it and forget it. Keep in mind that bids placed first in time are prioritized, so give yourself that edge. Now, before your bid is placed, you're going to select that purchase profile that you've already set up. You've been proactive, you've funded in advance, you've set up that purchase profile to tell us how you want that deed executed. So now you can go ahead and select that purchase profile to get your bid submitted. And once you submit that bid, it is locked in. You'll get a confirmation that tells you we're going to enter a bid for you on your behalf at an increment above the last highest bid. Now, it's going to be a minimum of $100 up to the amount of your highest and best bid. So note that even if you place that highest and best bid, that doesn't mean that you'll win the property for that max amount. You could totally win that property for well under your highest and best bid and get a great deal. And most of our investors do. They set it, they forget it, and they get a great deal. You're simply authorizing the system to enter bids on your behalf at increments up to your max. So like I said, hopefully you'll get a great deal, you win it for a great price, and as soon as you've won that property, the system will immediately deduct that Arizona winning bid deposit of $10K from your available funds. You can then choose how to settle the balance the next day by 5 p.m., which again will typically be a delivery in person to the firm, and we'll send you that next step email, a congratulations, and ask you and make sure that you're comfortable with filling out your forms. Utilize that buyer success specialist so that we can help you navigate that. Now, we've talked about recommending placing those bids in advance. Here's why we do that, okay? We want you to have success. That's why we're buyer success. We always recommend, for the best experience, place your bid early, well ahead of the auction, even the day before if you can. You're going to have the best experience if you place your bid in advance. And here's why. Like I said, bidders who place their remote bids for the same amount are prioritized first in time. So if you've got the same idea as the next investor, you want to make sure you get your bid in quickly. If you've got the same max amount, get that bid in first. Now, remote bidders who submit their bids any day prior to the auction date will receive this confirmation email. It'll let you know that you bid this amount on this property, and then it'll give you some tips for success. Now, the more bids you place, the more chances you have to win. So make sure that you determine what your highest and best bid for each property is and place those bids in advance if you can. Enter your bid for that amount prior to the auction start time. This is definitely going to be for the best experience. Trust me, believe me, as those auctioneers can go so fast on auction day, and we would hate to hear that you got behind the bidding and didn't get a chance to lock your highest and best bid in. Now, the auctioneer will never disclose your maximum amount because they're never told your max, and they're only able to bid up to the highest and best bid that you've set. You've told them how high you want to go. If you do decide to wait till the auction day to place your bid, you can totally do that. However, you won't receive this confirmation email if it's not the day before auction. If it's on the day of auction, you won't get this email, which is great for tracking your bids in advance. So it's always a good idea to place it early. Remember, you're going to have the best experience if you do. So place it early, place it in advance, and stay in touch with your buyer success specialist. Bids placed on the day of auction will still be able to be viewed into the app. So if you've placed those bids on the day of auction, don't worry. You can still log into your app and see your bids placed. You can also click on that property detail page on the day of auction and see that bid that you have placed, even if you've waited until that day. Now, the greatest advantage to placing your bid in advance, along with all these other advantages, is that it secures your spot in the auction. It locks in that bid, and it really makes everything so much less stressful. You must trust me. We like to say set it and forget it because it just saves you so much time. Now, auctions may not start at the exact time posted on that property detail page. So it allows you to not have to babysit the app. You set it, you forget it, you sit back, and you just let those winning bid emails roll in on auction day. Makes it so easy for you. So here's auction day. Let's make the most of the auction.com app. You're going to want to make the most of it by doing all of these tips that we've talked about. If you've placed your bid in advance, you don't have to watch the auction, but you can. So you can go back into the property detail page, click that Join Auction Now button, and watch the bidding unfold as it's happening in real time. It's pretty cool. So make sure that when you place your bid, even if it's during the auction, you are placing it for your highest and best bid, and you're placing it as early as possible. Even just a few minutes ahead gives you an edge over bidders who are waiting for the auctioneer to start to bid. Now, on the day of auction, let's say you've got some free time. You're noticing that the auction has started. Turning on your push notification settings in your device will allow you to get a notification from us that says this auction has cleared for sale. This auction has begun. This auction has been extended, giving you a little more time and a little more heads up and keeping you in the loop. You can even authorize text notifications, and those allow you to go ahead and click directly into that property detail page from your text, join the auction, and watch the bidding as it unfolds in real time. And folks, you can do that now, even if you have a free account and you haven't qualified for a remote bid. Take a look, check out some auctions that are happening in real time, join the auction and watch the bidding. If you've placed a remote bid on the property, you'll be able to see what your available funds are currently. You'll be able to see which bids have been placed by other bidders, and you'll be able to see which bids have been placed on your behalf if you've submitted a remote bid. It's going to look like this. That auction's in progress looks kind of like a text conversation. So set up your notifications, save properties to your favorites, and get those bids in early so that you'll be in the loop and in the know when a property is cleared for sale, if you've been outbid on the property, and even when you've won. If you miss the auction, we'll let you know whether you've been outbid or if you've won. So win or lose, right after the auction is complete, you'll receive an email notifying you of the next steps. Now that may include a DocuSign form or instructions regarding payment if that Arizona winning bid deposit applies. Time is of the essence, so be sure to keep an eye on your inbox or reach out to your specialist for what to expect. We can help you. Click the link provided in your email to allow you to withdraw your funds. Where it says, want to return your funds, request them here. The app will also show you the available funds remaining in your account. So you'll see them at the top of your app. And you can also submit a request right through your app settings under fund withdrawal. Funds are typically returned to you within 2 business days. Once we receive that, then it's not too long before you receive your funds back. So it's a lot easier to fill out that form on desktop, I will say. So when you receive any email correspondence regarding being outbid or winning a property, that link in your email is going to allow you to complete the DocuSign withdrawal request form on desktop or laptop. It's a lot easier than doing it in the app. But if you're on the go, never fear, you can always access your funds withdrawal in the app as well. That's it. So stay in touch with your buyer success specialist after the auction to keep yourself in the loop on when to expect your deed from the trustee firm, which can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks in Arizona, for example. And that's really it. Now is the time for any questions. We are going to see if we have any that have come through the Q&A. But first, we want to talk about next steps. Your next steps are to make sure that you are reaching out to the buyer success team with any questions or concerns, because as soon as you qualify for remote bidding and you're onboarded, you'll receive a designated, dedicated buyer success specialist. That might be me, or it might be one of the other great buyer success specialists on our team. No matter who it is, you're going to be lucky to have them. But either way, before you qualify, you can always reach out to us at the inbox, buyersuccess@auction.com. Grab a screenshot, jot this down. Maybe you can't think of anything to ask just now. We've given you a lot of information. So you can always send us any questions at any time to us there. Or you can visit us at auction.com/remote bid. And that'll allow you to see all of the areas with remote bid available. It's got some great FAQs. So let's go ahead and see which questions have come through. Let's see here. All right. We do have a question asking if what determines the starting bid, asking if it's determined by who owns the property to cover their required amount. Kelly, would you like to take this one?
Sure. So the starting bid is determined by the attorney firm. Auction.com does not, as Renee mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, is we don't own the properties. So our information is coming straight from the attorney firm and the servicer or the mortgage company as well. So they're hiring a firm to assist with the legal proceedings. And in those legal proceedings, they're also looking at any fees, how the rates, what are they behind, what someone could be potentially behind on. And all of those are factored into what determines an opening bid amount that is not determined by auction.com.
Perfect. Thanks, Kelly. All right, we've got another question asking about the initial $10,000 deposit. Will this be refunded back within a few days after the property closes?
If you're the winning bidder,
Or
if you are not winning.
I think we're asking if the 10,000 deposit will be refunded, and take it away, Kelly.
Okay, so the $10,000 is allowing you to participate in the foreclosure auction. If you are not the winning bidder, that is where you will submit the request to have your $10,000 wired back into your account that you originally submitted it from, or you can keep the funds in there and continuously bid using that same $10,000. If you are the winning bidder, that $10,000 is deducted immediately from the winning bid amount. So if you won, for example, $100,000, then $10,000 is immediately deducted, and your remaining balance that is due to the firm within 24 hours or at 5 p.m. the next business day is $90,000. So again, if you aren't the winning bidder, you will have to submit a request to have your funds returned to you via a bank wire.
Beautifully put. Next question, is VA financing available, or is everything cash?
In foreclosures across the country, financing is typically not available. All states will, because they're a public auction, they will require full or all cash sale in all the states.
That's right. I'll take the next one. Is it possible to see what prior winning bids were for past auctions? And the answer is yes, if you save those properties to your favorites. Don't forget, saving properties allows you to see what that property sold for if you miss the auction. So save, save, save. That's going to save you. All right. Let's see. Just going through some that are relevant to today's session. We want to make sure we keep this relevant, and any additional questions we'll try to answer via the inbox.
I see a question on just how would someone win that might be out of state?
Yeah.
What investors do, and we have quite a few that fund that reside in one state and look to invest in other states, they wire in the full amount of what they're looking to bid. And I'll take, Texas, for example, or Georgia. We just finished up Super Tuesday. For those who might not be aware, Texas and the state of Georgia are the only two states in the country where you can only conduct a foreclosure one time a month, and it happens to be on the first Tuesday of the month, which what we tag as Super Tuesday. Texas has 254 counties. They're all going simultaneously. Georgia has 159 counties. They're all going simultaneously. So no one can be at all the counties at the same time. So investors will fund by a bank wire $500,000, and they will submit bids on whatever properties that are eligible or that are pending sale that day, and set their bids, as Renee mentioned, and forget it. And whatever wins, that it's ticking off, it's deducting from that 500,000 on that day. So the same thing would apply for a state like Arizona. If you have a property of interest, then you will submit via bank wire the amount that you feel is your winning bid amount. This is the max that I'm willing to pay for this property. So you can actually fund 275,000, which I would believe one of the examples is there, and we will deduct the full winning bid amount and send it straight to the firm.
Wonderful. Thanks, Kelly. We've got another question. How do you compare properties, or probably prepare to bid on them, when the opening bid isn't always announced until the evening before?
The winning bid or the
Probably the opening bid.
opening bid? I think that's where savvy investors do, they're doing their due diligence. So they're checking out they understand the market. They understand what the comps are in that area. They know how much it costs to do rehab, if they're a fixer, if they're holding. All of those things are typically what's factored in. And mind you, sometimes you have to factor in if there's someone still in the property. That is also part of your due diligence. So you might have to consider the cost of doing business when it comes to doing evictions in states. So all of those factors are what you're considering as you are determining what is that amount that you're willing to pay to secure and win that property.
And we had a question, how can we find out the starting bid for properties we're interested in? Starting bids might not be initially posted. They may not know exactly where that debt lies. So make sure you save those properties to your favorites to receive notifications on any opening or starting bids, whether that property is cleared for sale or whether it's sold. And keep yourself in the loop. Save, save, save.
Yes. As Renee mentioned, saving is paramount. When you save a property, you're going to get information at the same time auction.com does. So anytime that opening bid gets updated from the firm, it hits all of the systems at the same time. If you have your notifications on, you will not only receive an email, but you might receive a text message that just lets you know the opening bid amount has been declared. There are some states, and Arizona being one of them, there's certain properties that would also tell you what the credit bid is, if it is authorized for us to open up to tell you what the credit bid amount is. And it will also tell you that in the notification or in the email.
And that's great because the credit bid will tell you essentially what the reserve or where that property will sell. So that's super helpful in getting your due diligence started. Speaking of due diligence, what might that consist of, Kelly? Courthouse to see what taxes are due, if someone's still living in the property?
Yes. So due diligence starts with reading the notice of sale, checking the legal description, running title reports, doing drive-bys if you can. Many investors do that just to kind of get a lay of the neighborhood. A lot of our pictures are going to be very much of the front. You in foreclosure, you are not able to get inside of a property. So understanding what the inside is going to look like is a little bit different, but that is also part of your due diligence when it comes down to understanding what you might need to invest in terms of rehabbing it and getting it back on the market. So that's a little bit of the start. Our PDP can kind of help you through the start. We'll have some comps in the area. We'll have a little bit of data that's given by a third party. We give you sometimes some average retail values for the area, but that's also based off of very high-end upgrades to the property. So we have heard feedback from investors like it's the values are a little bit high, especially what the way the market looks today. but that's a little bit of the start of your due diligence.
I also included the link to our new vacancy and eviction services landing page, which will allow you to get some guidance on vacancy services. And what you can do is get connected with a vacancy service provider by submitting your information and your state of interest. So I put that in the answer to that question, as well as the question asking if auction.com offers services for eviction. If you can click that link or grab a quick screenshot of it. Let's see. Are there any additional fees that we might pay when we win?
Yes. In a nutshell, there could be. That I think that again goes back to due diligence, specifically in foreclosure. Now, it's not a traditional closing as you would encounter in a bank-owned sale or a traditional real estate sale, but there could be additional fees. There could be HOA liens that are needing to be due that don't always drop when a property is going into foreclosure. There, depending on certain states, there could be additional taxes that are due as well. And that is, again, a part of due diligence in making sure that you understand the statutory requirements for those states, what you could be responsible for. But for the most part, in terms of foreclosure, it's most often very cut and dry. I don't want to say it's 100% cut and dry, because we've had investors who have not done their due diligence and wasn't aware of the particular, like, people were still in the property and they're responsible for doing the eviction of it. So that is one thing to consider in this side.
That's true. And some firms, especially in Arizona, may require, for example, a $30 recording fee in addition to your winning bid amount. So keep that in mind. Typically, with foreclosures and remote bidding, you're going to pay your winning bid amount and that's it. But note that there may be firms that do charge those recording fees, and Arizona is one of those states where that might apply. So talk to your buyer success specialist, send your inquiries into the buyer success at auction.com so we can help you prepare. So we got another question about cancellations. I think we've talked about saving properties for clearances and cancellations. Is it understood that properties can at any time be removed from being auctioned at foreclosure? For example, they paid up their taxes that were delinquent prior, or in this, in our example, since we're trustee sales, they reinstated their loan by making payment or maybe paid off the amount that they owed. And I'll take this one. Yes, that can cancel the foreclosure sale. Properties will typically not clear until the day of auction, because again, this is a legal proceeding. So the homeowners in default that are delinquent are afforded every opportunity to stop that foreclosure sale by, for example, reinstating the loan, making payment, or filing something to stop the sale, etc. Make sure you save properties to your favorite so you stay in the loop. You'll know when properties are cleared. You'll know if they're postponed to a later date or if they're canceled, which will save you a ton of time. Let's see. After you've bid, is there a notification or marker that shows whether the reserve or credit bid was met or not? And if not met, is there a contact for purchasing after? Can I take this one too, Kelly? Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Remember, save those properties to your favorites, because like we said, you'll see if that property sold to a third party. At these foreclosure sales, one of two things is going to happen. Either it's sold to a third party bidder, such as yourself or another bidder, or it doesn't meet the debt that's owed. It doesn't hit that credit bid or reserve price that will satisfy the debt on that foreclosure proceeding. When that happens, then it reverts back to the bank. And so if you've saved that property to your favorites, you will see that that property has reverted back to the beneficiary. And then they've got the option to list that property as a bank-owned property on our website. Now, I want to keep this foreclosure specific and remote bidding specific, but I wanted to answer it so we made sure that you save properties to your favorites to get any notifications. And if you receive a save notification that you don't understand, reach out to us so we can clarify anything you see. Hey, Kelly, how long can we keep the deposit in our remote bid account?
Forever. Until you decide that you are wanting to request the return of payment, then it is in there until you request otherwise.
We'll leave it in until you tell us you want it back. And in that case, you can click the link for fund withdrawal, or you can click that link in any email correspondence that you receive regarding remote bidding. We also have a question about how we contact Buyer Success, our specialist, or the inbox. We're always available at buyersuccess@auction.com. So make sure you take a screenshot of this slide so you know how to reach us, because as soon as you're onboarded, you will receive a dedicated representative, a dedicated Buyer Success specialist that will reach out to you to give you their contact information and say hello, congratulate you for getting onboarded, and help you navigate the entire process. All right, we have one last question on the starting bid amount displayed. Sometimes the starting bid is an estimation of the debt, right, Kelly?
Yes.
Yeah, it may not be exactly known what the amount owed is on that property. What is going to satisfy that debt amount owed at the foreclosure sale? And that may not be known until the day of auction. So if you see a starting bid or an opening bid amount, note that that can change, and it can be a different amount at the time of sale as additional debt can accrue. But you're gonna stay in the loop. You're gonna keep those properties saved to your favorites, and you're gonna reach out to Buyer Success for any guidance at all. Got a great one that just came in. If you put your bid in and change your mind, Kelly, can you cancel that bid prior to the auction starting?
You cannot. The bid is secured and it cannot be revoked.
Yeah. Again, this is a legal proceeding, so make sure when you're doing your due diligence, you know exactly what your highest and best price is. You're going to lock that bid in on the day of auction. You're going to be proactive. And if you wish to wait until the auction day, then you can do that and you can participate as well on auction day. But that bid is going to be locked in. You won't be able to cancel it or decrease. You will only be able to increase that bid. That's a great question. Well, I think that's all the remote bid specific Arizona winning bid deposit questions that we have. We do have a question about properties being both remote bid and first look. Kelly, do you want to acknowledge that one, or should we reach out to the, I think since it's remote bid, we can go ahead and.
It cannot. I mean, it cannot. The remote bidding is tied to foreclosure. So it needs to go through foreclosure, that legal proceeding first. And then if it does not sell, because that's what determines how it goes into the first look program, it means that it did not sell to a third party. And then it becomes sold back to the bank. And certain eligible properties will qualify to go into a first look program. And then, so you cannot see a remote bid, or you should not see a remote bid eligible property also in a first look program.
We want to thank you all for joining us today to learn about how to navigate remote bidding and the Arizona winning bid deposit. Have a great day. And as always, thanks for being the best part of auction.com.